Good afternoon, everyone. Tim Wilmot speaking again. Thanks for joining us. Pete Johnson's on the demo as well. Thanks for joining us for our what we call Tech Express, a slightly more advanced session here, advanced tutorial on moving fields in Workbooks CRM. So this demo is very suitable for anyone setting up a new workbook system, customizing it, anyone that's an administrator of their workbook system, or just wants a little bit of extra information on how to move and place fields on forms on different screens in workbooks. So I'm now going to hand over to my colleague Peter. If you've got any questions, please type those in. You'll be used to the format. Please type those into the question section on your meeting control panel. We'll do our best to answer those after Peter has done his little demo, and catch up with you very shortly. Over to you, Peter.
Thanks, Tim. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, just going to share my screen. You able to see that, Tim?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so this is really a follow-on from the last session where we added custom fields to a screen. So I've added this field onto a person screen, and the idea of this session is to show you how to move and customize the fields around the screen and place them where they need to go. So my example here is this, I've added this little checkbox field just for one that I can move decision maker, so that I can mark this record as a decision maker or not. Now, I would like my users to have this a bit closer up the top here, with perhaps the primary information about the contact rather than in this little social media area where it is currently. Sometimes if you add a custom field, you'll notice from the last session they just went into a customized section of lots of other fields. So invariably you'll want to move and change them. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Just before I go into the area, the customization area, to change this, it's worth understanding the layout a little bit. You may or may not have different views of a layout. This depends on your initial setup or who else is managing the system. And when you can see this little view button up in the top right, I'm currently looking at a view called default. I mean, I could change this to my simplified view, which again has some different fields on. There's my decision maker checkbox down there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to customize this default one. Perhaps something we consider for another session is to show you how to create these different views. So I'm going back to my default view. Now, whenever you look at these views, it's important to understand that all of this screen is built up of sections of information. So I've got a little presentation in a moment just to show you, but there are sections within sections within sections. And when you're moving a field or placing a field on the screen, you need to know where you're going to put it in terms of the section name, which I'll show you. Just to give you a bit of a preview of what I'm on about here, is this is a typical person screen with some details on it. Now, whenever you look at this whole screen is a section. So you can see here I've marked in red a section. But what you've also got is a section within a section. So whenever we look at the names of where fields are, you'll probably find they're in a section, which is actually in a section of its own. So then you get another section. This one, for example, is 2 columns in this section, within this section above it, which is also within the other section. And this particular set of data is in 1 column of that 2-column section, which is in a section, which is in a section. So it's always worth knowing where your field is and where you want to put it. So the example that I'm going to have a look at in a moment is have a look at a field that's already in the section that I want, pretty much where I'm going to put it, and see what section that is in and change the field that I want in there to that section. So hopefully that makes sense. It'll make a little bit more sense in a moment when I go back to this area. So this decision maker field, don't know what section it is. I'm guessing it might be called something like social media or whatever, but I want it maybe I'd like it under job role, between job role and employer. Now, the idea in a moment is to find where job role is and then place this field in the same section, but after the job role field. So to get to these layouts, we go into Start, Configuration, we go to the Customization, and we go to Record Types. We went there the last time to add a new field, so pretty similar journey to get to the area that we want to change. And I want to configure and customize the record type of people. So we've added a new field, and we did that in the last session, but now we're going to go to form layouts. And form layouts is really where those screens are designed. So if I move this around a little bit, this screen in the background here is a people layout, and it's the default layout. I showed you that in the view in a short while ago. If I click on default here, this is the design of that screen. And if we go down here, you can see in this fields area, we can see all of the fields. In fact, that job role field, hopefully you can see in here, is in a section called main form column 1. So I need to remember that, because what I'm going to do is journey down this list until I find my decision maker field, which is in a section called social media, as we guessed a moment ago. But if I click on the decision maker field, and up here, I'm going to change its parent section. I'm going to change its parent section to the same section that the job role was in, which was main form column 1. And once I'm there, I want to place this new field after the field called job role, which would put it in between job role and employer. So if I select that in here, incidentally, you can change it to required, so it's got a mandatory blue bar next to it, or read only, so only people can see it rather than edit it. But if I choose save and close, and I'm going to back all the way out here, saving and closing as I go, so save and close from the form layouts, and then save and close out of the area here, which is, let me just go to main, save and close. Great. So if we now open up the record, Amelia Morris, you can see that our field has been moved from the social media area to this section. This section we know is called main form column 1. I imagine this one over on the right is main form column 2. Yeah, so you can see here we've changed it and moved it to where we need. So you can go and customize and change the screens around and adjust the fields to exactly where you need them. So nice and simple, another one that's easy to do if you know how to do it. So customizing the screens. Thanks, Tim. Any questions come through yet, Tim?
Yeah, only one question from Frank, a pretty obvious question. How do you get rid of a field?
Oh yeah, maybe I should have covered that during that session. So yeah, so a typical one I see that we often get rid of on the screen is this fax number. So let's go and do that. So similar kind of journey. I'm going to go to configuration and customization, record types. I'm going to scroll down to people, because that's the record type we're going to adjust. I want to take it off of the default layout. I might even go into the simplified one I showed you a moment ago and take it off there as well if it is there. But I'm going to go into this default layout and select the field itself. So I imagine it's, should be able to spot it here, fax. Yeah, so this fax number here, I'm going to select and choose not to show it. Now you can go and delete fields, but you might have some data in them. So my advice probably at this stage is to just not to show it and save and close. Again, backing out all the way, save and close, and main, save and close. And if if I come out of the configuration screen, I'm going to choose main, and if I just choose save, you'll notice that the fax number should disappear. So yeah, great question. Sorry, I should have perhaps covered that along the way.
Yeah.
Any others, Tim?
No, I mean, an important consideration there with any database application, Workbooks is essentially a database application. If you delete the field, as Pete said, you're going to delete the data. So yeah, nice little tip there just to temporarily remove it. You never know when facts might come back into fashion. You may want that field again. So best just not show the data takes up a minute amount of space. Have no concerns over, oh, this is accumulating lots of data. Workbooks is very efficient in the storing of information. So I don't think there's any more questions. I think there was just that one, Pete. So yeah, just remains for us both to thank you for attending. This presentation is the 7th of May. We're about to have a bank holiday weekend in the UK. But thanks very much for your time, and we'll speak to you next week. Again, next week, Thursday, make a note, 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. We'll have our basic and our advanced free workbooks training sessions. We haven't decided exactly the topic yet, but we'll be doing the mailing next week, and we'll announce it on our Twitter feed as well, Wizard Systems UK. This video will also be, this little tutorial will also be up on our YouTube channel very shortly, along with all the others that we've done over the years. And well, have a nice weekend, and we'll catch up with you next week. Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Tim. Cheerio, everybody. Bye.